Welcome to this premium note. Today, we're going to uncover how computers evolved to become the ultimate leverage machine for your career, your business, and your wealth. I'm absolutely thrilled to be your mentor for this session. Look, we aren't just going to memorize dates and look at old hardware today. We are going to break down the architectural blueprint of digital income and technological leverage. Let's dive in.
Seriously, think about it for a second. How exactly did we go from counting wooden beads on a rack to AI systems that can literally predict global markets? Well, by examining this incredible journey together, you're going to see exactly how each major technological leap created massive new digital economies and huge business opportunities. Because understanding this progression, that's the secret to spotting exactly where the next massive wealth-building opportunity is hiding.
So here's the blueprint for our note today. We'll be hitting 4 main topics: the ultimate leverage machine, tubes to transistor wealth, microchips and digital income, and finally, AI, quantum, and your future. We're taking you all the way from physical leverage to the cognitive leverage of tomorrow. Let's get right to it.
Starting off with Section 1, the ultimate leverage machine, from physical to mechanical computation. Long before electricity was even a thing, solving complex problems required physical leverage. The invention of the computer actually started over 3,000 years ago with the Abacus. You can kind of think of this simple wooden rack with sliding beads as humanity's very first productivity app. It allowed anyone, from ancient merchants to navigators, to dramatically scale their basic math capabilities. It was a simple tool, sure, but it amplified human output in a major way.
Now let's fast forward past those early mechanical engines. In 1936, we hit a massive intellectual breakthrough: Alan Turing's theory of universal computation. He basically envisioned a machine capable of performing any task as long as it was provided with the correct instructions. And here's why that matters to you. This theoretical model is the exact underlying principle that allows a freelancer today to run an entire global SaaS business or launch an e-commerce empire right from a single laptop. Turing proved that one single machine really could do it all. Moving from theory to actual hardware, we enter Section 2, tubes to transistor wealth, unlocking the electronic era. This is where mechanical levers officially became electronic signals, unlocking massive enterprise value.
So first-generation computers in the 1940s and 50s, like the ENIAC and UNIVAC, were absolutely colossal. We're talking machines that occupied entire rooms, and they relied on basic machine language to solve just one problem at a time. The barrier to entry? Incredibly high. In fact, the UNIVAC was the very first commercial computer delivered to the U.S. Census Bureau back in 1951. At this stage of the game, computing leverage was strictly reserved for massive governments and the ultra-wealthy corporations.
Now, these first-generation giants ran on something called vacuum tubes. Imagine trying to run a startup today, but your main operational tool constantly overheats, eats up a ridiculous amount of electricity, and breaks down pretty much constantly. That was the reality. Vacuum tubes were this massive operational bottleneck that kept computing from scaling into the broader commercial world. But then, the second generation solved that nasty vacuum tube bottleneck in the 1950s with the invention of the transistor. This was, without a doubt, the ultimate operational efficiency hack. Transistors were small, fast, cheap, and highly reliable. Because of this leap, computing wasn't just for science experiments anymore. Everyday companies finally began adopting them for real-world business tasks, things like payroll, inventory control, and data analysis. The cost of operations plummeted, while enterprise efficiency totally skyrocketed. But the real explosion in digital income potential happened in our third section: microchips and digital income, the personal computing revolution. This is when we figured out how to miniaturize those individual transistors. The third generation brought us the integrated circuit, which meant packing multiple transistors onto tiny little silicon chips. And guys, this was monumental. Instead of just running one single program at a time, computers could now run operating systems and actually multitask. Keyboards and monitors finally replaced those clunky old punch cards. Suddenly, this incredible technological leverage became accessible to a mass audience, simply because the machines were finally small enough and cheap enough for widespread use.
And that paved the way for the fourth generation, where microprocessors rapidly accelerated human leverage. Check out this timeline. In 1971, the microprocessor puts all computer components on a single chip. By 1981, IBM puts a PC right on your desk. By 1991, the web connects those PCs globally. And then in 2007, the smartphone takes all of that immense power and stuffs it right into your pocket. This specific technological sequence is exactly what birthed the modern internet, the SaaS explosion, global e-commerce, and the creator economies that we profit from today. When you look at it all laid out like this, there's a direct, powerful correlation. Every single time the core hardware shrank, going from tubes to transistors to microchips, the barrier to entry dropped. And when the barrier to entry drops, the opportunities for everyday entrepreneurs, freelancers, and developers totally skyrocket. The leverage literally moved from the government down to the corporation, down to your desktop, and finally right into the palm of your hand.
We've seen how hardware shrank to fit in our pockets, which brings us perfectly to Section 4, AI, quantum, and your future. Because what happens when those tiny chips start thinking, learning, and self-organizing?
Welcome to the 5th generation, the era of cognitive leverage. We are no longer just instructing machines, we are actively collaborating with them. 5th-generation systems can recognize images, they can understand natural human language, and they can make highly accurate predictions. This is artificial intelligence. AI is serving as an intelligent partner that you can monetize right now, today, through modern workflows, smart automation, and generating content at a scale that was previously impossible.
So let's look at how this builds into the future. As we look toward a potential 6th generation, mastering these emerging technologies is exactly how you future-proof your career. Quantum computing using qubits is going to completely disrupt cryptography in medicine. Nanotechnology will drive microscopic wearables. Advanced AI integration will completely automate global business tasks. Learning how to implement and leverage these exact tools right now, that is how you position yourself at the very forefront of wealth building in the modern digital economy.
To wrap up our note today, I want you to remember this. Computers are so much more than just machines. They are extensions of human thought. This entire evolutionary timeline from a wooden abacus thousands of years ago to an AI neural network today is really just humanity's ongoing effort to amplify our own intelligence and our own capability. You have more computational power in your pocket right now than the generations before us could even fathom. So the only real question left for you is, with all this massive leverage at your fingertips, what are you going to build next? Keep building, keep innovating, and I'll see you in the next note.